ESPN Bakersfield welcomes you to the Fantasy Breakdown, giving you the weekly edge and knowledge to dominate your league.
Let's turn this game around!
Providing the starters, sitters, sleepers, and creepers every Sunday, live from 8 to 9 a.m.
Here we go. The ball is loose. It's a foul.
Brought to you by Muerto's Kitchen and Lounge, Catherine Hall Agency, Farmers Insurance, Fusion Energy, Safari Carpet Cleaning, Law Offices of Kyle Jones, and Advanced Security.
Here we go.
Phone lines are open at 842-2000.
But guess what? That don't mean nothing, man. The only thing matters is a win. That's it. However, whatever it takes. Let's go, man. Let's win on three. 1, 2, 3, win.
And now, let's get this show rolling with your hosts, Sparky and Earffman.
No, I don't.
What's going on, Bakersfield? This is the Fantasy Breakdown. I am the Earffman. Across from me is Spark Master Sparky. We are here, man. We are live, taking your questions, your requests, whatever you got for the your fantasy lineups today.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, Sparky.
I'm a little late to the party.
I saw that. Caught me by surprise. I was like, hey, what's going on over there?
Well, we got a caller right now.
Already?
Yeah. Let's welcome Nick to the show. What's up, Nick?
Doing good. How are you doing, Steven and Aaron?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh, good. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Me and Aaron Crowell go way back.
Well, we just wanted to say good morning. Nick, thanks for calling. Thanks for listening. Give us a call back about 8:30, and we'll do some football picks with you.
Was that what he's calling for?
All right.
All right, brother. Thank you, man.
Guys.
Get some coffee, man. Get out of here.
Well, welcome to the Fantasy Breakdown. This is Sparky over there. You already heard the Earffman. It's Sunday. I've been up since before the sun came out.
I've been up. I woke up today. Sun wasn't up, and I just, I feel like your life is over at that point.
Yes.
It's just there's no reason to go on with the morning if you're awake before the sun's up.
Well, my Dolphins are in London.
Oh yeah,
Playing at 6:30. So I've been up pacing since about 4.
Yeah, so you're happy is all. Yeah, you know what? And you got all your get up on. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
I got Drew Brees and I got Michael Thomas going tonight or today.
This morning.
And dude, this game has just been
ugly.
Ugly. You feel bad for people in London because you figured they're going to see some offense today, and it's the exact opposite.
Yeah, they're seeing flags.
Last week it was Jacksonville and Baltimore, and Jacksonville's all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're going to put up 50 points.
Exactly.
They were just short,
total of 90 points in that game
from Jacksonville, and Blake Bortles, and then you got people like Drew Brees playing today, future Hall of Famer, and they're.
Yeah, just a wrap-up. If you haven't watched the game, you're just waking up. The Dolphins drove down the first drive, got to the 3-4 yard line. Cutler threw a pick over to Julius Thomas. The Saints drove down, missed a field goal. Yeah. And then it's been flags.
Well, yeah, how many? I mean, I don't have the numbers, but there's got to be upwards of already 10.
Yeah, and then the Saints
penalties.
Drive down and kick a field goal right before halftime. So we're looking at 3-0 Saints at halftime.
Yeah. So I feel like the injury list is enormous today.
Yes, we'll run down that real quick. Let's just start it. You guys know our sponsors. If you've been listening, Safari Carpet Cleaning, best carpet cleaning in town. And not only do they do carpet, but they do tile,
upholstery, do your car. Shoot, the only thing
they do everything.
The only thing they don't do is laundry. That's the only cloth they won't clean.
I need that too. But yeah, give them a call. 10% off, 330-8463. Let them know you heard about them on the Fantasy Breakdown.
That's how you get your 10% off.
That's right. Muerto's Kitchen and Lounge over there at 1514 Wall Street Alley. Fusion Energy. Give them a call, 877-389-4660. Read up about them, fusionenergy.com. The law offices of Kyle Jones. Give them a call. Free consultation with 833-1090. Just a reminder, we're going to be joining Kyle Jones tomorrow on the Ralph Bailey Show on our sister station.
Right at what, 5:30?
5:30.
Right
the drive home.
Right at kickoff.
Yep. And it's over at our sister station, News Talk 1180 and 96.1 KERN. Kyle Jones is taking over the Ralph Bailey Show in the 5 o'clock hour.
And Monday's what? It's Washington at Kansas City.
Yep.
Should be a pretty decent game as long as the Kirky Kirk can show up.
A big shout out to Advanced Security. Give them a call at 589-9700. Don't be a statistic. Don't be robbed. Get Advanced Security where you can sit at the radio booth and watch your house on your cellular phone like I can do.
Check in on
Just
your dog.
making
Check in
sure.
on your dog.
Yeah, making sure my dog isn't doing no ruckus. And Farmers Insurance, where they can give you the best home, life, and auto insurance. Give local agent a call, Catherine Hall, at 829-7904. She is located at 4939 Callaway Drive. So the injuries.
Seriously, this is like I feel this is an abnormal plethora. I'm gonna dig in the dictionary there, and it seems enormous, man. It just seems huge. But go ahead.
It's getting worse and worse every week. But the Bengals will be without tight end Tyler Eifert.
Good news for AJ Green.
Yeah, he's still dealing with that back injury. Titans wide receiver Corey Davis will miss this week's game versus the Texans. Still dealing with that hamstring issue. Lions wide receiver Kenny Golladay.
I want to come back to that one in a minute, but go ahead.
He is out this week. Vikings once again will be out with no Bradford, still dealing with that knee injury from week 1. Patriots running back Rex Burkhead is a scratch this week, dealing with a rib injury. That should be a hell of a game too. They're taking on the Panthers today. The Jets have ruled out starting running back Matt Forte with a knee and toe injury, so expect some more carries from Powell. Which
that's good news for Powell owners. I think because Powell got picked up early. I don't want to say early, but earlier. People expected him to do a lot, and I don't know why New York is not utilizing him because he did very well at the end of last year. So of course the hype was there, and it should have been justified. And with the way the Jets are playing, I guess surprising. I know you. Besides that Dolphin. Yeah, I was going to say I'm sure you're a little upset about that. But I mean, division games are always bogus.
Trap games.
So but it's good news for Powell owners.
49ers running back Carlos Hyde is listed as questionable against the Cardinals today. Is expected to suit up.
Yeah, he's expected to play.
But
and I mean, he did have something like 20 touches
last week
after leaving the game last week.
He came back.
Like he had like 18 carries and like 2 receptions. I mean, he closed the game out, picked up 2 touchdowns after the hip injury, and they've limited his practice reps this week. So he should be good to go.
Got some rest.
I mean, he's in one of my lineups, actually 2 of my lineups. So I'm hoping he pulls through because he's at the afternoon game there. So
the Cardinals wide receivers J.J. Nelson and John Brown are both listed questionable. But last I heard from Coach Arians, they both probably will play.
Yeah, you got Nelson's hamstring, which you hate to see out of a burner, a guy that just let me go deep down the field. I mean, he pulled a 0.
That's what I was going to say. Goose egg last week.
Yeah, I played him.
I played him.
Yeah, me too. And I was extremely disappointed. And then you got John Brown and his sickle cell and his quadriceps. So, like you said, he's supposed to play today. So we'll see. It's a nice matchup against San Francisco, so I hope one of those guys does.
Chargers rookie wide receiver Mike Williams is still ruled out. He might make his debut next week. That's what the news are saying. Running back Melvin Gordon listed as questionable, but will suit up. He is going to play today. Raiders Michael Crabtree, breaking news this morning. He is doubtful with that chest injury. So no Crabtree against Denver today. Colts Andrew Luck is still out.
Yeah, out. And you were telling me this morning.
Yeah, the rumors are swirling now that the Colts are taking calls from top 5 teams for the draft next year. That the only way they would get rid of Luck in that huge contract.
They're going to be a top 5 team.
Yeah, so they want 2 picks in the top 5. So they said that's the only way they would take calls. Seahawks also is Doug Baldwin is questionable, and they're without. Pro-size.
That's a groin injury, right?
Yeah, and Baldwin is actually a game-time decision. That's the one we're going to have to keep an eye on because that's a big part of their offense.
Yeah.
Redskins starting running back Rob Kelly might be back for Monday's game against the Chiefs. Gruden said, Thompson's been playing well, but as soon as Kelly plays, he's the starter. That's not going to change. So I didn't hear anything about Jordan Reed. I know he's been questionable all week. He's pretty much questionable his whole career.
That's pretty much the catch-20. Or I don't want to say catch-22, but it's that's the pain of being a Reed owner. Immense upside, and
Have a backup.
I hope he's playing downside. But he's a limited participant all week. He says he expects to play, but check on that. Chances are, if you didn't do it last week, Vernon Davis is on your waiver wire. He should be available. If you want to go that route, Davis proved, he did well last week. I don't remember his numbers exactly, but, they were decent for a tight end. And so if you want to stick with Reed and see if he plays, I'd go ahead and pick him up or pick up Vernon Davis and sit on that.
Third quarter just started.
More football, hopefully, because football's a game of two halves here.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is completely different because
Breeze just hit Coleman for 40 yards.
It needs to be Michael Thomas. You can tell what's going on with my fantasy team if it's not Michael Thomas and Drew Brees.
So what did you want to get into with the Lions without Galladay?
Oh, okay. So I was reading something yesterday. If Galladay doesn't play, I forget the guy that will replace him. I don't remember his name. It's not important. But if they do that, they're moving Golden Tate to the edge. If they move Golden Tate to the edge, he is going to be matched up with Xavier Rhodes. Now, from what I remember, I believe Rhodes shadows. And so far this year, Xavier Rhodes has faced Michael Thomas, Antonio Brown, and Mike Evans. And Rhodes has surrendered 0 touchdowns. So, he's
a lockdown then.
And those 3 receivers, in my opinion, are above and beyond Golden Tate.
Yeah, well, it's a different type of receiver.
So if you've got flex options, I would consider playing somebody else depending on what you have. I would imagine Tate will still have volume, but you might be looking at like 6 catches for 6 yards, or something of the sort, because Rhodes is starting to emerge as a premier corner, So I would, like I said, depending on what you got, I would consider it, and I would keep an eye on that just to see if Detroit's going to move him to the edge. I believe they did that. I think it was week 2 or week 1. I don't remember which week it was that Galladay didn't play, but they moved Tate to the edge, and that's why they're assuming that they're going to do that again.
I felt so bad for the Lions last week, and Golden Tate.
Yeah, that was pretty rough.
With that runoff, and it's just
and that weird tackle where like your body kind of folds in half, but your knee hits before the ball gets across. Yeah, that was rough. That's a rough way to lose right there.
Exactly. Well, feel free. You can always send I have a list of lineup questions already. We'll get into in the next segment. We'll also cover Thursday's game with the Packers and the Bears after this break.
Yeah.
Feel free to call anytime at 842-2000 or send your lineup questions over on our Facebook page under the Fantasy Breakdown.
Yeah, I got a couple already.
So when we come back, we'll cover Thursday's game and a couple lineup questions. And we have some news about our station. Next week, we will not be on 98.1.
We'll be on the 101.1.
Exactly. That changes Wednesday at 1 p.m. So
FM. It'll still be the same on the AM.
Yeah, that's not changing. It'll still be 12:30 a.m.
Or 12:30.
But after Wednesday and the Greg Kerr Show, we switch over to 101.1. Right here on the Fantasy Breakdown on ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m.
98.1 FM for now.
The Fantasy Breakdown is brought to you by Catherine Hall Agency, Farmers Insurance, and Advanced Security. Right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m., 98.1 FM.
Welcome back to the Fantasy Breakdown on ESPN Bakersfield. Dolphins.
Oh, touchdown, Michael Thomas.
Is that Michael?
Michael Thomas. That's a discount double check for the Earffman.
Someone's going to break his leg.
No, let's not do that right now.
Let's break it today. Anyways, well, let's do our Thursday night recap. The Packers took on the Bears. Packers took that one easily, 35-14, but did get beat up in the process.
Oh, my God. The Packers are those are my boys. I got high expectations for the year, as every year. And then every year as it goes on, I just feel like my team just dies. Everybody just gets beat up and just pulverized. And
Rodgers is like, just relax.
Yeah.
Just relax.
Well, the GOAT, the real GOAT aside, I guess. as a Packer fan, I got to give it up to Tom Brady. You know, I mean, Aaron, come on now.
Anyways.
You know, I mean, Rodgers carries that team every year. Carries it every year.
So Montgomery, Jamal Williams, backup running back, and Devontae Adams all left that game with injuries. Devontae, that was sad. I mean,
yeah, that Trevathan hit was pretty brutal. If you didn't see it, go check it out. Just YouTube Devontae. Just seriously, if you just type in on YouTube Devontae Adams, you will see gets knocked out. That's what pops up, you know. And then and then you just watch it and
you see his mouthpiece just
dude,
up
yeah, and he
feet.
just lays there. So on since we're talking about that, I did read up on him a little bit. I guess he's been released
Friday
from the hospital, yeah. And he said, "I feel great. I feel fine. Everything's together. All my bones are intact. My brain is still here.
Pain meds.
You know, yeah. It just said that he avoided serious injury. Of course, no spinal injury, no neck injury. So,
and the guy that hit him got suspended yesterday for the next 2 games.
For 2 games, yeah.
And he's already appealing.
But yeah, I mean,
how do you appeal that?
I don't know. You know, I mean, I guess you got to because it's money.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they get paid per game, I believe. You know, so it was pretty bad. And then the same thing with Montgomery. Everyone feared Montgomery broke his rib, and then
coach said he's going to practice this week.
Yeah, so
might miss a game, but we'll keep you updated on that.
I'm guessing maybe it's a tear or something because I believe if it's a fracture or something of the sort, which I mean people say is worse than a break, I don't think he would play. So I mean maybe they'll give him that that quarterback giant jacket thing, and maybe he'll wear that. He'll look like Eddie Lacy back there in the backfield.
the inactive Lacy.
Oh yeah, poor guy, man.
Well, going over fantasy performances, the few players that are on the Bears. Glennon went 21 for 33, 218 with a touchdown and 2 interceptions.
You think it's time for the Trub?
Plus 2 fumbles. Yeah. It's looking like Trubisky
it's got to be.
Up.
You know, I mean, Chicago, unless this is just what Chicago wants to do, and they're going to be a team that does all right at home. I mean, how do they beat Pittsburgh at home and just get mollywopped on the road in Green Bay?
And they should have had that opening game against Atlanta.
Yeah, see, that was at home as well, and they competed very, very well. You know, so, I mean, unless it's just like a huge home-away swing type deal with Chicago, you know, I don't know. But, I mean, at some point, you're going to have to see what you got in Trubisky. I mean, come on. All these other teams are doing it. Watson, Watson's a team. Houston with Watson. You know, Cleveland with Kaiser. You know, just you got to see Glennon. You can't do any worse than what you're doing now.
No.
You know,
Jordan Howard was back with 18 carries, 53 yards, and a touchdown, and then Kendall Wright was the leading receiver for Chicago with 51 yards and a touchdown. The Packers' Aaron was 18 for 26, 179 yards with 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. Pretty efficient. That's efficient. Efficiency right there.
Those running backs, though, like I said, they had a tough game. Ty Montgomery had 5 carries with 28 yards before leaving the game. And then Jamal Williams came in, had 13 carries with 49 yards and a touchdown, left the game in the second quarter. And good news, like I said, McCarthy said both backs' injuries aren't as bad as first reported. They should be back next week versus Dallas. Team is expecting, at first they were saying, there's veteran running backs out there, but it looks like coach is not making those calls yet. So don't expect some flashy free agent running back to join the Packers this week.
I can't even really think who's out there right now.
Jordy Nelson finished the game with 4 receptions, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Cobb had 4 catches with his he was back this last week, 44 yards and a touchdown. And Devontae Adams had 2 grabs, 13 yards, and a touchdown before that helmet-to-helmet hit.
Yeah, as long as Rodgers gets his line back, they'll be. I mean, it's the Packers. As long as Rodgers is in there, your fantasy people are going to be just money.
Yeah.
So.
Well, before we take that break, before we do football picks in the next segment, which nobody won a Muertos gift card last week.
That's right, because who won?
We did.
We both did.
We both did.
Brought
Thanks to
it
that Monday
home.
night game.
Man, that's 3 weeks now, and we've only lost to one caller.
One caller. I believe it was Mikey.
You know, we take three of you guys a week here at the bottom of the hour. Get yourself a Muerto's Kitchen and Lounge gift card. Something must be going on there in the Miami game, huh?
That's crap.
You got chin up.
Yeah, I hate having to be on the air with my Dolphins right now because it's very difficult to keep it clean in here.
So he sees. Okay, so pretty much you can judge how the game's going
By just looking over.
If Sparky over there's got the
slamming crap down. And
yeah,
this
what
offensive
are you
line
doing
is
over there?
garbage.
Come on.
So we already have a couple questions. Hop started out with, do I start Derek Carr at Denver or Goff versus Dallas?
Oh,
I mean, it's hard to bench Carr, but that's going to be a tough game in
That's
Denver.
going to be a really tough game. And without Crabtree, Akeem is he's going to eat Amari Cooper for lunch.
Yeah.
And Cooper is struggling. I've about had all I can take at Cooper. I've already benched him this week. I'm not advising anyone else does that. I don't know what your options are, but I benched him. He's dropping the football. He just hasn't done much. I almost feel like I'd rather play what is it, Seth Roberts? This week. I mean, jeez, man.
So do you go with Goff
I think
against Dallas?
that's hard to say, but I
mean, he had a hell of a game last week. But
I think so. Dallas has a weak secondary, and Watkins looked nice.
Goff's getting comfortable with those Bills receivers.
Gurley's doing very well, so that's helping keep defenses a little more honest on both ends. So,
all right, one more before we go to break.
I can't believe I'm suggesting to play Jared Goff, but
that Bakersfield boy.
If this was a week you were going to do it, I would say do it now.
Well, Oakland and Denver both are coming off of a loss last week. And that should be a hell of a game.
Oakland's was so bad. Oakland's loss was just Washington's defense is nothing like Denver's.
We'll see on Monday night.
So yeah,
if they can take down Kansas City after taking down Oakland,
yeah,
you're gonna have to keep an eye on the Redskins.
Big difference being home and being away, though.
Yeah,
So
one more. Jr. called in, said Robert Woods versus Dallas, J.J. Nelson, who's questionable against Frisco, or Amendola against Carolina.
I like Amendola.
And see, I was leaning towards Robert Woods. So we differ.
Well, so neither one of us wants. I don't even remember the other guy now.
J.J. Nelson.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, especially after what he did last week, and like I said, you don't know what's up with that hamstring, and you hate seeing that out of a guy that's all about speed and burning people, because that's what he's based on. That's all he can do.
Well, get your phones ready. Call in at 842-2000. Give us a call during this break. We're going to take the first 3 callers. You beat us, beat me into Earffman, or even tie us. We'll give you a $20 gift card to take your little girl or your boyfriend or whoever.
Or take me. Take me and let's talk fantasy.
Free tacos, free burgers over at Muerto's Kitchen and Lounge right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 1230 a.m.
98.1 FM.
Call in with your fantasy questions or comments at 842-2000 and check out the Fantasy Breakdown on Facebook with up-to-date NFL news and injury updates. Now, back to the Fantasy Breakdown.
Welcome back to the Fantasy Breakdown on ESPN Bakersfield, where we are going to do our Week 4 football picks. You beat us or you tie us.
That's not going to happen.
You win
it's only happened once in 3 weeks.
Gift card to Muerto's Kitchen and Lounge. Best tacos in town.
Vegan tacos. That's what I'm talking about.
Get out of here with that crap. So we have Caden, Robert, and Nick.
Nicolas. Roberto.
So our first game is the Panthers at the Patriots. I'm going to start off. I'll take Carolina with the upset. Who you got, the Earffman?
Wow. I'm going to
Carolina over the Patriots?
That's right.
Yeah, whoever that is, I need you to turn your radio down.
Who you got, Earffman?
I got the Patriots.
Of course. Who you got, Caden?
PJ.
Robert.
I got the Patriots, man.
And Nick.
Oh, there was no doubt it's the Patriots.
this guy with the confidence.
I'm going with the upset.
There is no doubt that Sparky's a moron over there taking the Panthers. That's but I'm gonna have to.
Their starting tight end is out.
That's good.
Yeah.
Crazier things have happened.
Titans and Texans, Sparkster.
I'm going to go with the Titans. Earffman.
Titans.
Caden.
Hi, Titan.
Titans.
Good job, Caden. Who you got, Robert?
You said Texans versus Titans, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go Texans on this one.
Right on. Nick?
Oh, Titans by 10 points plus.
Okay, I'm putting that down by 10.
He said Titans, right?
Yes, he said Titans.
Yes, sir.
All right. Steelers at Ravens. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
I want to take Baltimore, but I'm taking Pittsburgh.
All right. Caden?
Steelers.
Robert?
Yeah, I'm going Steelers.
And Nick?
I need the Steelers to win, but this is the kind of game the Steelers lose, so I'm going to go Baltimore.
Yeah, these division games, man.
Yeah.
The Rams at Cowboys. I'm going to go with Dallas.
So am I.
All right. Caden?
Cowboys.
Robert?
I'm going to go Cowboys.
And Nick?
It's my Cowboys, dude. Come on.
Oh, God. Lions at Vikings.
Hey,
I'm going to just skip that. I could have said 100 different things, but
That game's a wash, so get rid of that
Don't
one.
do it.
Lions at Vikings. I'm going to go with the Lions. Who you got, Earffman?
Vikings.
Caden?
Vikings.
Vikings.
Robert?
Yeah, I got the Vikings, man. Stephon Diggs is fucking. He's unstoppable.
Hey, easy with the. Come on, man.
He's on fire.
Whoa.
Jeez.
On the radio.
Nicholas?
No Sam Bradford, highest paid quarterback with the Lions. I got to go with the Lions.
Right on. 49ers at Cardinals. I'm going to go with Arizona.
So am I.
All right. Caden?
Cardinals.
Robert?
Arizona.
Nick?
I will not change the pattern.
Okay, it's another wash.
It's another wash. Yeah. All right, we got three more. Giants at Bucks. I'm going to go with the Bucks at home.
I'm going to take the G-Men. I've been picking them almost like every week. Sooner or later, I'm going to cash in on this pick. I'm going to do it this week.
Okay, who you got, Caden?
Giants.
Robert?
I think Eli's hungry, man. I'm going to go Giants.
And Nick?
You get that G-Men defense, a great offense with a wrong second sophomore year Jameis Winston, not going to happen. Bucks.
All right. Raiders at the Denver Broncos. I'm usually taking the Raiders, but I'm going to go with the upset with Denver.
I've got the Broncos also. Caden?
Raiders.
That sounds like our next promo. Robert, who you got?
Man, this is going to be a great game, dude. But I think I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one.
The Raiders. Nick?
Right.
Raiders kind of disappointing. You got Trevor Siemian tearing it up as a rookie quarterback at home. I'm going 2-touchdown win, Broncos.
Oh, no. And the last game, we're going to go with the Monday night game, the Redskins at the Chefs. I'm going to go with Kansas City.
Caden, who you got? Chiefs.
Robert?
I got the Chiefs, man.
All right, Nick?
Look for Kareem Hunt with 200 yards offensively.
That could easily
Tear this
happen.
game up. Kansas
Right.
City.
Who you got, Earffman?
I got Kansas City as well, so let's get rid of that one. I'm going to throw one in there. Eagles, Chargers. Sparky, who you got?
I'm going to go with Philly.
Caden, who do you have? Philly or LA Chargers?
Who was that? Philly?
Philly.
All right. Robert.
Man,
I feel for San Diego. That's my team, man. But we got to come out with the win this week. I'm going Chargers both all day.
Superchargers.
Nick?
You want to talk about a tough one with Carson Wentz kind of tearing it up, but I really think my boy, Keenan Allen, is going to do something dirty and get me 2 touchdowns in this game. I'm going with the Chargers.
All right. Who you got, Earffman?
I'm going to take the Chargers also.
All right. Well, thanks for everybody calling in. Good luck. We'll keep you posted on Facebook how the picks are going. When we come back, we're going to do a couple more lineup changes. I think Earffman's got some trade etiquette.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about some of that stuff. Maybe get some caller opinion if anybody out there's listening has got some input on trade etiquette and what you do and don't do.
And let me remind you, this Wednesday at 1 p.m., we will be switching the dial to 101.1. And ESPN Bakersfield is not only your home for the Raiders, so after this show this morning right here on ESPN Bakersfield, we'll be bringing you the Panthers at Patriots pregame starting at 9:30, followed up with the Raiders and the Broncos. Stay with us all week. You know the Major League playoffs start this week. We will have the American League wildcard game Tuesday night, the National League wildcard game Wednesday night. And like I said, change that dial right after the show. Put 101.1 in the dial.
Plug it in now.
And when we come back, we'll do our final segment right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m.
98.1 FM.
And soon to be 101.1 FM.
ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m., 98.1 FM, is the home of the Oakland Raiders and Fantasy Talk. So let's get back to the Fantasy Breakdown with your hosts, Sparky and the Earffman.
Welcome back to the Fantasy Breakdown on our final segment. This early game is the end of the third quarter, Saints up 10-0. And Dolphins just missing tackles left and right. And it looks like the Coach Gase is about to have a heart attack on the side of the field.
Hey, he wants to pick it up, man. He wants to, I don't know. It's got to be tough, though. You got to give the guys that to go all the way across
from California to London.
California
to New York, then London, and then I think next week we'll finally have a home game. But no bye weeks this season for the Dolphins or the Buccaneers.
Yeah, already happened.
Yep.
So,
what do you want to dive into? Some lineup questions we have real quick, or you want to?
Yeah, I got a couple real quick. I got one from. I like to get these out of towners here listening in on BakersfieldESPN.com. I got Brooke in Kansas, Phillip Rivers, or Carson Palmer.
Palmer.
I like Palmer as well. And then Jesse in Visalia. He's got he needs a receiver here because he's not sure what to do with Doug Baldwin. He's got Keenan Allen, Golden Tate, Sammy Watkins, or Amendola.
I like Tate, but I think Nick, our caller, was expecting a big game out of Allen.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's right, he was.
But I would personally roll with Tate.
I think I would roll either Allen or Watkins. I like Watkins against Dallas' secondary, and I like Keenan as well against the banged-up Philly secondary.
JR's second question was Blunt versus San Diego or Chris Johnson versus Frisco. I know you don't like Blunt.
I think I would roll with Johnson. San Diego has a decent front, and I know Blunt finally showed up yesterday, which kind of
last week.
Or yeah.
Well, with Sproles gone, he's going to get more carries, but it's just the amount of carries we don't know yet.
Yeah, it depends on what they do between Smallwood and Clement. So I would still do Johnson. I think Johnson's going to be the preferred back there, and I think Ellington will be the change of pace. Seems like Kerwin Williams has just been flicked off the radar there for the old vet. So
my good friend Buddha sent in a defensive question. Does he go with Detroit's defense against the Vikings or the Panthers against the Patriots?
Do
you
not
have to go with Detroit.
Do not mess with Tom Brady.
And they are also ranked the number one defense.
Who?
The Detroit Lions.
This week, or you mean like
no, in fantasy football?
That's because Baltimore got blown up in London.
Well, that was Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, I know. So I know before that it was Baltimore was number 1.
Yeah,
So
Detroit's defense have been putting up 15 to 20 points since the start of the season.
I got one more flex play: Carlos Hyde or James White.
Hyde.
Even with the injury, you'd rather you kind of want to stick around for that.
I just don't trust Patriot running backs.
Okay, so if Hyde doesn't play, let's pretend Hyde is all of a sudden, because he's game time decision. I know they're saying he's going to play. If he doesn't play, what do you do? Do you grab Breida off the line, or I think you would? I'd go grab Andre Ellington if he's not owned yet, and I'd roll
Cardinals?
him. Yeah, if he's there.
That's my problem with the starting Cardinals running backs. I have Chris Johnson in a couple leagues, and I started him the first week he was going to come in after Kerwin didn't do jack. And I just don't trust these Cardinals running backs. I mean, I'm waiting for Chris Johnson to just have some monster game, but I think the last 2 games he's had 3 points and 6 points.
Yeah, Johnson's just going to be like the bell cow. If that's what I think they want out of him. And then, like I said, Ellington, because Ellington's quick, he'll just and he's like a Kamara and like a Thompson type of guy. Riddick, not as good as those guys, but he is that type, and that's what I think they're going to use him as. So it was for Joseph. So Joseph, if you're going to play, I would play Hyde as well. I know Arizona's defense is fairly tough, but, I mean, Hyde will get the workload. I mean, dude, he had, I think it was 25 carries last week, and he had, I believe, 6 targets and caught 4 of them. I mean, that's 30 plays he was directly involved in. And as a fantasy owner, that's all you can ask for. That's what you want is workload. You don't know what you're going to get with James White. I know James White is a decent flex play, but I would still hold out for Hyde. Yeah. And if something crazy happens, I would pick up Andre Ellington if he's available, or go ahead and grab him now and stash him if you want. I'm not saying Ellington's going to have a great game, but I think he'd be a decent
We got a message from Kirk. I think that might be my older brother over there at Fusion Energy. But he wants to know DeMarco Murray versus Houston or McCaffrey against New England. Personally, I'd go with McCaffrey.
These are like good problems to have.
But New England's defense is not looking good.
Yeah, New England's defense has been garbage. McCaffrey's slowly just being like more and more involved. And with Cam's poor play, I mean, he's got to check down. And for some reason, broccoli beef stew over there just doesn't get.
Bad snap! Bad snap! Bad snap! All right, we're back.
Who picked it up?
The Saints did.
The Saints
I think
picked
it's
it up?
about 3rd and 30.
It's gonna be about 30. Well, let's see. I want to see a bomb here to Michael Thomas. So anyway,
no.
So yes, you got any other questions? Is that it?
I got one more.
What is it?
It's it wasn't a really lineup question. He said, should I play Carr or Lynch? And if so, I don't want to team up with either or both of them. So which one would you go with? Would you go with Carr or Lynch? Just as starting.
That's a random question.
He doesn't tell me who the rest of his team is.
What's going on with it?
He said he's got Roethlisberger and Goff as backup quarterbacks, but doesn't want to go with Carr and Lynch. Does he think that Lynch would be the safer bet?
Well, the Denver defense is tough all around, and Lynch hasn't been the greatest, I guess, at this point this year. He's been a disappointment. I would say, I would sit them both.
Sit them both.
Yeah, I would just sit them both. But if you had to play one,
yeah,
I think you play Carr over Lynch. But that's up to you. Because Carr's going to throw 30 times. More than likely that game. So that's what I would do. A
big reminder before you get into your trade talk. We will be on the Ralph Bailey Show tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. on KERN 96.1, talking football with attorney Kyle Jones.
Maybe figuring something out with the Zeke thing, which I believe, by the way, I think tomorrow they're supposed to come to some sort of
some
thing,
sentence,
with it. So. Anyway, as far as trades, I don't know if I got enough time to really get into it.
2 minutes.
So, Let me get your opinion. A lot of people say for trades, now this is stuff I've been kind of reading on and seeing here in different forums and Facebook pages and whatnot. It seems like the general consensus amongst most fantasy players is you do not veto any trade. And I find, okay, now I don't know if I'm if I'm just a huge, insane dictator, like, because, in the league I run,
Yeah.
I'll veto trades. I'll cancel them if I think they're garbage. In fact, in my league, I'll give you an example in a minute. What is your opinion on that? Do you?
I veto.
So you believe in vetoing?
I do if the trade was garbage. But in my league, I think it's 4 teams have to veto it for the veto to go through.
Okay, so you and I both then, I guess, are Kim Jong-il and Kim Jong-un here. That's who we are.
13-0 Saints.
Apparently within our leagues. So, for example, okay, so this is why I believe you veto. And I've seen people arguing, saying you don't do this. Like, you don't veto this, and I don't understand it. Joique Bell for Aaron Rodgers has been a real trade, okay? And I stopped it.
Yeah,
Cancel it out. Just cancel it outright. Okay, there was no collusion.
Tanking.
Okay, another one was Boobie Dixon for Lamar Miller. This was 2 years ago. Okay, when Lamar Miller finished the top 5 back. Garbage. Get that out of.
Was that his last year in Miami?
Out of my league. Yeah, it was his last year in Miami. There was also Antonio Brown for Eddie Lacy and Alan Hearns.
Veto.
Okay, now in my league I let these go. For an example, the guy that took the Antonio Brown trade. Okay, he was 2-4. He won out and won the league.
That's crap.
All right.
Well, check us next week here on 101.1.
That is why you veto.
The big veto. Enjoy football. Thank you, everybody.